All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I have missed being here with you all every Wednesday morning because, as many of you know, or all of you know, I have been traveling for the past 2 months. And I just got back on Sunday, and I'm here today. First of all, because it feels like home. So thank you for all welcoming me back home again and to share some of the lessons that I've learned. So, if you've been following the journey through Facebook, which is where I've been sharing most of the photos and things like that, you know that I have literally went around the world and in 60 days. So for those of you who are, of a certain age, you may even remember there was a movie made one time about around the world in 80 days. And it was David Niven was the actor, and he actually went around the world in 80 days in a hot air balloon. Now, I went around the world in 60 days because I took airplanes and trains and automobiles and buses. I did all of those modes of transportation, plus a hot air balloon, plus a felucca, plus a party boat when we were in Greece. So I've had the pleasure and privilege of seeing so much of the world. And literally, we went. If you are geographically challenged like I used to be, but now I've been around the world, so I'm much better. Um, we went from Fort Lauderdale to New York, where we had a 10-hour layover. So we started our trip with a 10-hour layover. And some of you may think, oh, a 10-hour layover. Let me tell you, we had the best time because dear friends of ours came and met us at the airport. We hung out for like 3 hours and we had lunch and we experienced the airport in New York and we went to the TWA place. So lesson number one that I really want to share from this experience for 60 days is to go with the flow and find the good in each and everything. And it's not always easy. We get faced with lots of challenges in our lives, and um, being able to shift your perspective to look for the good is going to transform how you experience it. And there may be some downtimes, but yes, though, Dr. Roz, you are so awesome keeping these lessons for me. Yes. Lesson number one is to go with the flow. So here we are starting off this grand adventure with a 10-hour layover in New York before we fly on an overnight flight to London. And so we hung out by ourselves, Barry and I, and I'm going to bring Barry on in a few minutes to share some of his lessons and some of the fun we had along the way. So 10-hour layover that went by like this. Like before we knew it, we was like, oh my gosh, we better go board our flight. So that was lesson number one. So we go from Fort Lauderdale to New York to London. Now, many of you probably think of London, especially in the month of February, because we took off in early February. You may think, oh, it's cold and rainy. And we had that for just the first day. But somehow from Florida, we brought the sunshine with us. And we had us the most beautiful time. We went to Brighton. We went to the city of London. We got to see shows. Actually, a client of mine who lives in Germany and met us in London. Like, how lucky can we be? And lesson number two is we can all be that lucky. So, Dr. Roz, thank you for keeping track of these things for us. So, lesson number one, go with the flow. And the more you go with the flow and do your best to look for the good in what's happening, that's how lucky you can be. So, we get to London after staying in Brighton for a couple of days and visiting Barry's grandchildren, which was absolutely fantastic. I got lots of hugs and giggles and all that good stuff, and seeing Barry with his family, that just lights up my heart. Um, So we get to London and our hotel room is not ready yet. And it was also Barry's birthday weekend. So I wanted to plan special stuff for him. So we had tickets to see two different shows over that weekend in London, and it was really great. So the room's not ready. It's like, okay, we'll go and have lunch somewhere and we'll come back. We come back in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, and mind you, the weather is gorgeous. It's bright and beautiful and sunny. I did a Facebook Live from there, and you could see like this is not dreary, rainy London that everybody talks about. This is beautiful sunshine London. It was magical. We get to yes, sunshine followed us. Yes, Ross, that's great. We get to the hotel. We go back at around 3 o'clock. The hotel room is still not ready. So what did they do? They gave me access to the club lounge where you get free food and free drinks. Thank you very much. Because here's the thing, when you go with the flow and look for the good and you are kind to people, when you don't go, believe my room's not ready, blah, 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 blah. No, stuff is going to happen. Be kind to people. Though this woman Heather, who was working at the desk, she was just doing her job, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, the room's not ready." I'm like, "It's okay." She goes, "Here, why don't you go sit in our club lounge?" It's like, "Okay, I could do that." So I go and hang out in the club lounge for a little while, have some champagne, have some snacks. It was wonderful. Talk to Susan. Yeah, I was like so happy. It was the first time I got to talk to Susan while I was away. And then a couple hours, about an hour and a half later, they come and get me and they say the room is ready. So we get into the room and it's a very nice room, but it had no air conditioning. It was hot, it was sweltering. So they brought us a fan and they tried to do this. And we had 2 nights at this hotel. Well, what did they do? They upgraded us to a suite for the second night. So go with the flow, stay in that positive energy of looking for the good. So that's lesson number one. So we're just about a week into our trip, and then we're getting ready to go to Athens. And I want to share that I literally took a 2-month vacation. And in my entire life as an adult, a working woman, starting off as a single parent, providing for my kids all during this time, I have never taken such a long vacation. And literally, I saw a few clients during this time, but really not at all. My business was being run. My business was moving forward. And that is thanks to the extraordinary team that is here at Women's Prosperity Network. So I want to take this moment to say a huge thank you to Trish Carr, Trish the Dish, who filled in on all these Well Wednesdays. Yay! Wasn't she phenomenal? We were so grateful to have her skills, her heart, and her talent interviewing. Yes, yes, yes. The business was set up in such a way, and the team was set up in such a way to afford me the opportunity and the freedom to do so. So let's thank Trish Carr. Let's thank Susan Winter. Yes, 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 Susan Winter. Taking care of so many pieces. Annie Sid, who stepped in and took care of a bunch of things that I would normally take care of. Laura Barker stepping in to do coaching with us during our momentum. So yay. And those of you who are joining us this weekend, you'll get to see Laura Barker. I'll tell you about this weekend in just a couple minutes. Stephanie Pimentel, who did take a vacation as well with us in Greece, but then she came back and picked up the ball. So lesson number 2 and 3, maybe we're up to number 3. Lesson number 3 is to set up your business so that you have team to take care of many of the things that you would normally be doing. So setting up your business to be on autopilot, as Roz wrote, and having a team in place that will take care of the things to keep your business going, to have a system set up where you have automatic recurring revenue coming in. So team is absolutely essential. And you may think, oh, Nancy, you're so lucky you have a team. I'm not just lucky that I have a team. I've been intentional in creating a team and an extraordinary team. You may say, oh, Nancy, you're so lucky you have your sisters. Well, not everybody on my team are sisters, but they've become family. So how can you now set up your business to have family in place? And what I mean by family, when you have family, think about this. You have common values, you have common goals, and you have a common commitment for everyone to succeed. So let's redefine what it is to be in business with family, because you can all have it when you know how to grow a team that's actually a family with common values, common goals, and a common commitment for everyone to succeed. That's what makes a really strong team thrive, whether you're there or you're not. And I know you want to hear some more about my adventures, and I'm going to share about that in just a few minutes. But I knew it was important for you all to hear, not just, oh, what a beautiful adventure, how lucky Nancy is. I wish I could do something like that. I want to be able to set you up for success so you can, because we all can when we learn how to think a certain way and be with people and others in a certain way. So, the true meaning, thank you, Olivia, of team. Together, everyone achieves more. You nailed it. And she's an extraordinary leader, Olivia. And so she gets all of this. Now, I want each and every one of you to think about whoever is working with you in your business right now. Do you have common values, common goals, and a common commitment, in common for everyone to succeed? Those three ingredients of the people who are on your team, whether it's somebody, a virtual assistant that you have, somebody who's doing social media, somebody who's working on your website, like all of those pieces of the puzzle will set you up for success and for freedom. And I'm reminded in this moment of Richard Branson. And sure, most of you are familiar, if not all of you, with who Richard Branson is. And he is, a billionaire who has a variety of different businesses. Started off in college with a newspaper, and then he turned to creating music and records and then airlines, and who knows how many businesses he's in. And so he was interviewed and asked, Richard, oh, Sir Richard, how do you create all of these businesses? And he said, the secret to my success, and one of the secrets to my success, is that I come up with an idea and then I find other people who are better at implementing it than I could. And chances are, most of you here, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're working full time, but you want to build that entrepreneurial business, you have this visionary capacity. You have this pull inside of you for something more, a seed that you are the seed for something to grow. But as the seed, you don't have to do all the parts of it, right? We want to bring up other people into our businesses and our lives and allow our ego to step aside long enough to let someone else shine in implementing the idea. That's a whole nother class that we'll talk about. All right, let's talk a little bit more about these adventures, and we will make sure that we share the chat. So Dr. Roz, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm probably going to want to bring you on the screen if you're in such a place that you can do so in a little bit, so I can personally thank you for that. All right, so lesson number 1, go with the flow, look for the good, create a team that's a family. Let's go ahead, and I want to bring Barry on right now. So let's see if Barry Alcatel is ready to join us. Where is Barry? Dun, dun, dun. So there you are. So for those who don't know, Barry Alcatel is my partner in life, my partner in travel, my partner in fun, and my partner in um, growing and stretching outside of my comfort zones, which I had the opportunity to do a lot of. So that's the next point that I want to talk about here, is stretching and growing outside of your comfort zone. So hello, 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 Barry. Let me go ahead. How are you, my love?
Very good, thank you. Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone here, and I apologise for taking Nancy away for 2 months, but we had a great time, so I don't apologise too much.
Don't apologize too much, not at all. So I've been sharing some of the lessons I've learned during this trip. We were just at the place of talking about teams. So
Sure.
you too are an entrepreneur and have your own business. So talk about that aspect a little bit.
Look, thanks, Nancy. Look, just before I do, I just want to make a point here that Nancy, I've never actually been away. I've done lots of overseas trips for months at a time, but I've never done it with anyone. And so if you are going to do an overseas trip with anyone for an extended period of time, make sure it's someone that you can get on with.
Ah,
Really important. And we had a really important word that we used during the whole trip. And I hope you don't mind sharing, but the word was okay. Like, can we shift
really?
seats? Okay. Like, it's not a big deal.
All right. So
And
wait. Can I set the scene for this just a little bit? All right. So so I'll come back to stretching outside of your comfort zone, and this may even be part of that lesson too. So imagine you're going away for 2 months, and you're going to be in four different types of climates. You're going to have winter when you're in London, and then again in Egypt in the desert. You're going to have summer when you go to Australia. You're going to have autumn when you go to the southern part or northern part. I'm all mixed up on these things. And you're going to have spring. Like we had all four seasons, which means in your suitcase, you need clothing for all four seasons. So imagine we had lots of luggage that we were taking with us on all of these planes, trains, automobiles, and buses. So when you're sitting somewhere waiting for the train or waiting for the bus or the Uber or whatever it is, and I'm like, Nancy over here, I'm going to sit here. And which means shifting all of this stuff with you. And Barry just says,
okay.
okay. Like he could have like, no, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Like think about when you're in partnership with people or even in your life and traveling together with people on your team, people in your family. Notice when your own resistance shows up and does it really matter? If it's something that the other person wants, does it really matter? Is that big of a deal? Just say, okay, okay,
Yeah.
right?
And also, I just want to mention something that you said about like we got so many upgrades it wasn't funny, and got so many drink vouchers. You know, like at one point they just kept giving us drink vouchers, and we sort of had to make an effort to drink them. You know, it was tough, but we did it. And I just want to make a point because Nancy's amazing at the ability to attract these things. But what it is neither of us actually, like she said, be kind and you'll get upgraded. And that's sort of true, but don't do that with the intent. So the intent was
Right,
to be
right.
kind. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And if we got upgraded, it was a bonus and thank you. So this is not about like trying to be nice to someone to get something out of them. Like we did not expect any of these things to happen. And yet at the same time, we knew magic occurred. So we just watched it rather than trying to make it happen. And
Yeah.
there's a difference there in our intent when people try to be nice to someone to get something out of them.
Well, and what you're talking about is the essence of the one philosophy. Simply being the one for
Mm.
other people creates magic in every aspect of your life.
Yeah. And that's fun in itself, isn't it? Like that's fun, just
It
being
is.
nice and getting people to open up, people who are serving us to open up about themselves and to tell us
Mhm.
about how excited they are about their day. And we just enjoy listening to those stories as much as, us going, we've done this and we've done that. So I just want to clarify that for people because a lot of people can sometimes think that, oh, we have to behave a certain way to get something. Behave a
Oh,
certain way because that's who you are, and then things turn up magically.
yeah. And you know that goes back to, we can tie that to, how do you build a team that is family? You be a certain way with the people that are on your team. You care about them. You share the vision of the company. You find out what's important to them and how their vision and their purpose in life aligns with your company, your business, and your objectives. It's all being the one in these aspects.
And
So talk to
that's been a big learning for me. In the last 12 months, I've built up this amazing team so that I could do this. And there's no way otherwise I could have been able to go away for 2 months
Mhm.
with the classes I had to teach that were taken over by other people. And it was the team that kept it going. And I'm also really clear now that this is no longer, we're not talking about the Vision School. The Vision School is not Barry's school anymore. It's our
Mhm.
school.
Right.
And so that's been a huge shift as being a solo entrepreneur for years to now talk about many of the stuff that I do is our work together, and people have become part of that. And like even while I was away, we now had our first newsletter actually delivered the day I arrived home. That doesn't happen by me. That happens by a team
Right.
who put that together so that first newsletter could happen the day we hit back in USA.
Yeah, beautiful. And so I all want you to listen in on what Barry shared, that he's had his business, the Vision School, for many, many years, and it's just over this last 12 months that he discovered, how do I cultivate and grow a team that moves the vision forward even without me? It's what we
Yeah.
want for all of
Yeah.
our visions and our goals, to grow it beyond that. So that's awesome.
In most businesses, the bottleneck, particularly for an entrepreneurial business, is the entrepreneur. That's where it stops. And so
Yeah.
this is about how can we release that? And it also opens me up to be more creative and to do new projects. I've got a new project coming up next month, and I'm excited about that because the other stuff can be done now by the team.
Beautiful. And so I'm away. Women's Prosperity Network is thriving. Our members are being served. New people are coming into the community because of the team, because of the essence of what we do. And this is true for you as well. Because of the essence of the value you bring, that stays in motion. And that's really what, you know, I want to see each and every one of you have in place, that the essence of the value you deliver can stay in motion without your labor, without your consistent labor. Like, you don't, the part of the reason you wanted to be an entrepreneur was to create freedom for yourself, so that you weren't having to just trade time for dollars. And that comes about when you learn certain aspects of building a business, a team, a family, and setting up systems for recurring revenue to be taking place. And I just want to mention, if you don't know about it, this weekend, so I came back on Sunday, I'm here with you on Wednesday, and on this Friday and Saturday, I'm going to be with you for a 2-day workshop in sales and marketing. And you don't know about this yet, but I want to talk about this aha I had around sales and marketing this morning, Barry, because you were part of this experience on the trip. So this weekend, come and join us for a 2-day sales and marketing workshop, because getting good at sales and marketing is what's going to allow you to have the freedom that you want.
Yeah.
Right? So understanding sales and systems and recurring revenue and how to get your message out there, how to let people know you exist without feeling icky and slick. Sales, like, nobody wants that. Right. So that's what we're doing this weekend. And because you're here joining us for this Wow Wednesday, whether you're with us live, listening to the replay on Facebook, I want to give you $50 off on your ticket so that you can join us. So excuse me, go to womensprosperinetwork.com/sales and marketing, all spelled out. And then the promo code is SAVE50, or just contact our office and we'll get you all hooked up for the ticket. And here's what I want to address right now, because in these different places that we went to, so we were in, like today, we were in over the last 60 days, 17 different cities. So 60 days, 17 cities. What does that average? Like 3.5 days in each one, which some were more, some were less, right? And so that was amazing, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah, look, that was amazing. And look, and it doesn't mean, the whole time I think we both had probably a 1 hour meltdown in the entire time. And
I
the,
I
the
might have
difference,
had two or three of those. Let's get
sorry?
I had two or three little meltdowns. Two I remember very distinctly.
Do you want to share one of them?
You
People want to know, don't they?
want
Put
to
your
know
hand
the
up if you want
meltdown?
to know.
So,
And
so
the difference is how quickly, yeah, camping was definitely one of them.
was
The quick,
camping involved? Yeah,
the difference is how quickly and not to stay in that space, and that's
correct.
both of us were able to do. Really, once we're aware of it, as soon as we're aware of it, both of us are able to go. Oh, let's get back in the vortex. Let's get back into that zone and to stay in that space again.
Hmm.
And so, that's why this was a great trip. I've traveled with other people for 2 weeks and just about, looking for the exit door at every time. And that was not the case for the entire 2 months.
Right.
But maybe Egypt for about a smidgen, like there was because there was nowhere to go when you're in the middle of the desert. So,
When you're in the middle. All right, so let's tell the desert story because it's a good one. And if you so there is a video on Facebook that I shot after my second night in the desert. So if you're curious what it looks like, you can say I was real and I was raw. Um, so so Egypt, we get invited, and how this trip, this 60-day trip all started was a friend of Barry's was doing what was it, like 20 days to Egypt, something like that.
there was a 17-day, no, 14-day with a 3-day option in the desert.
Right. So 14 days in Egypt, visiting these temples and pyramids, and oh my gosh, the learning, the knowledge, these looking at these temples and pyramids that were built 3 and 4 thousand years ago, maybe even more than that, because they don't really know. And how were these pyramids built? Come on, like out of control. So the artwork, the history, the stories of all of that just filled me up so much. So anyway, we get invited to Egypt, and I was like, "Oh, that'll be great!" But the add-on part, so it was 14 days traveling through Egypt, Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan, all along the Nile, and then 3 days camping in the desert. Now, Nancy Matthews has never, ever, ever camped a day in her life. When I was a Girl Scout at like 8 years old, there was an overnight camping trip, and I got there and I stayed, and I was like, and I'm like, I want to go home. So, and I cried, and I got to go home. No camping for this girl. You may not even have known that first
I
part
didn't know
story.
that.
I just shared with you. And some people love camping, and I really respect you that you love it so much. It's just not for me. I love five-star hotels. It's okay. Anyway, so when the guides, the tour guides for this trip were describing what it was like to be in the desert and the stars in the sky, which I love to see, and your and they just made this sound so delicious and inviting and a do not miss experience. So there's another lesson in here. We were going all the way to Egypt and having these experiences, and then we got invited to do the camping, and my initial reaction was, oh, camp. And then I thought to myself, Nancy, you're going around the world to Egypt. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. say yes and trust the process. So there was something in me that said yes. Oh, I want to do the camping. And then Barry looks over and he's like, who are you?
I was surprised, put it that way, and
They
I'm
were,
really pleased I wasn't the one that suggested it.
yeah. Yeah, so that's another good thing about the relationship, right? So, so we're doing all of, yeah, say yes and trust the process. So I said yes to the camping part, and it was on the back end of this trip that we did. So we had been in all five-star hotels, traveling on buses and seeing these temples and having great meals and wines and all of this beautiful stuff. And then comes the camping part of the trip. So I'm just going with it. And I want to give a shout out to all my WPN sisters who helped me prepare for the camping trip, making sure that I had the things I would need to take care of certain bodily functions, if you know what I mean. So thank you, WPN sisters. Barry's like, you're bringing that? You're bringing, I'm like, yes, I need these. But anyway, so we get into these Land Rovers, these Jeeps, and it was driving through the desert. And I am like, I am not adventure girl. This is, yeah. And I'm in this Jeep and it's bouncing, and I'm like, that was the first thing that scared me. But then seeing the Black Desert, right, with these beautiful hills and to climb up that had black sand all over them, and then getting to the Crystal Desert, and then getting to the White Desert, like I was in awe. You know, we talk about breathtaking views, and we had those, right?
Definitely.
Well, then it's time to set up camp. Unfortunately, we had a tour group that set everything up for us. And then I'm imagining, I've seen tents, imagining nice tents, and there were some big ones already set up there. I'm like, this is going to be fine. No, no, no. Describe the tents, honey.
Well, the tents were two man, like you know those little 2 man, 3 man pop up tents that you get. So effectively, Nancy and I fit in that. You know, that's it.
Just.
Can't stand up in there. There was a thin mattress on the ground, which was like tough enough anyway.
No,
A
it was
sleeping
just a
bag.
sleeping bag. There was no mattress.
I think there was a really thin mattress that they gave us.
Okay, that's why I thought there wasn't.
Yeah. And then we had, so there was virtually, that was it. That's all we could get in there. She's told stories like, if you get up during the night, shake your shoes out in case there's scorpions in there and things like that. So that's freaked her out a little bit as well.
Yeah, for just a little
Um,
bit. So we have this, grand adventure day, and we go riding through the desert, different places. We get to the camp, we have a nice dinner, and there's a fire, and now it's time to go to sleep in this tent. And during the day, the temperature was about 80 degrees, I would say.
yeah.
Very hot, sun shining brightly. And at night in the desert, it got down to about 30, 35 degrees, freezing cold. And then we go to bed and we get into the tent, and we're lying there face to face, like this close. I'm like, why did I do this? I can't believe it. Ryan, why did I do this?
And look, she wasn't actually, she was actually that bad, but look, she did cope. Number one, she coped during the night. And number two, I didn't react to anything that she did because I knew
You
that she
were
would get.
amazing. You were amazing. And going back to, I'm having a hissy fit, I'm crying, I'm upset, I'm planning my escape. I was like, well, if
That
Jeeps are
was so
here,
funny.
there's a hotel that was about an hour and a half away. Maybe they can just take me to the hotel. I don't have to do this 2 nights, blah blah. Like I'm planning my escape from all of this. And then I fall asleep and I wake up because I need to, urinate in the middle of the night, and you have to walk really far to get to the little tent that they did have a toilet. So I got to say that was a really good thing. But anyway, I wake up after sleeping for a bit, and I'm like, please let it be 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Please let it be early. And it's 2 a.m. Then I fall back asleep. I got to go again. Please let it be 5 or 6 a.m. Please, please. It's 3:30. It's like, was like, oh my gosh. Um, and I made it through that first night. And I woke up the next morning and I took a little walk through the desert by myself and I talked to God. I was like, all right, God, why did you bring me here? I'm getting little goosebumps as I even talk about it now. Because going back to say yes and trust the process, there was something that caused me to say yes to do this part of the trip. There had to be a meaning in it, there had to be a purpose in it. So even in our times of challenge, our times of adversity, ask the question, why am I here? Why am I going through this? Who am I meant to be? How am I meant to grow through this process? And I'll tell you, I could have dipped and not stayed the second night, but I did the first night. I can do the second night. The question is, would I go camping again? I have done the most difficult, challenging type of camping you can ever do. At least I think so. I guess if it was snowing or something like that, it might be more challenging, but I'm not going to do that. But I could. So my growth in that process was I may not like it, but I can do it. Right. So that was part of it. And when I went for my little walk, and was like, God, why did you bring me here? And the message that came through was about having the quiet time to get clear on where I'm next to go in my purpose, my mission, and my passion, my fulfillment. What is God here to express through me, which is what my human existence is about. I am here to be an expression of the divine, right? So I am here to continue sharing the one philosophy. I am here to spread the message. And those who have worked with me one-on-one, I mostly have taught this in one-on-one in small classes, but the practice of Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. Some of you may know it from Joe Vitale's teachings. I have gone deep into Ho'oponopono. And I know that this is the answer to so many things to bring peace and healing on the planet. So the message I got in the desert was, Nancy, to be quiet enough for me to get to you so that you take a bigger part in spreading the word of Ho'oponopono.
And for those people who don't, many of us, I'd heard of Ho'oponopono years ago. Joe Vitale, a lot of other people talk about it. I never really understood it until Nancy shared it. Like she takes it to a whole new level. So if you get an opportunity, find out how much and how powerful this is. And I was so excited when she got that message because I know that that's what she's meant to be doing. Like it just felt, yes, that's it. And
Yeah,
between the one philosophy and the Ho'oponopono,
they go together like this.
it just fits. And watch this space. And the result of Nancy saying yes to the desert and talking about sales and marketing, the person that suggested they did a great job telling you how great the desert was. So, sales and marketing is getting people who maybe have resistance to say yes to something that actually supports them.
Yeah, well, and so that's the thing. So thank you for tying that together because I wanted to go there next. In terms of sales and marketing, so many of us have had yucky, distasteful experiences with people selling to us or marketing to us. So David Webby, who sold me on the desert, did it from a place of pure passion and commitment that if I did this, it would be huge for me. Like that's where he came from. And I talk about resistance, I had tons of resistance. Am I glad that I did it? You betcha. Would I say yes again to that aspect of the trip? Absolutely, I would. Right? So being able to sell from this pure place of passion and commitment is what we do here at Women's Prosperity Network, is what I do in all the ways that I love selling because I don't think of it as selling. I love marketing because I don't think of it as marketing in that traditional sense. So when you come to the workshop this weekend, I'm going to help you unlearn some of the yucky stuff that you've experienced in sales and marketing that may have turned you off to it. And quite frankly, we had that experience when we were in Egypt. Yucky sales, right? I was thinking about this morning because as I was, looking at all the different cultures and the types of people that we met, when we were in Egypt, and those of you who've been to Egypt or been on a cruise or been to, kind of third world type of countries where they're desperate for money, they will say and do anything to get you to buy things from them. That's where it was. They come from desperation rather than inspiration, right? Would you say that so, Barry?
Totally, totally.
Yeah. And it didn't feel good. Like you get to the point where you're mad that this is happening, and you don't like. Even if I wanted that stuff, I'm not buying it because you pissed me off.
One of the things we learned actually in those countries that people are going there, no wasn't sufficient answer. Like, do you want to buy this? No. What I did find worked in those scenarios, which was really interesting. I'd say, "Excuse me, I'm in a conversation," and they'll actually be respectful to you having a conversation with someone else. And
That
they
was
feel like,
really fascinating and powerful.
whereas if I
Yeah.
said no, it was like the thought process of desperation was, "I'm going to get you to say yes whether you like it or not."
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was still that respect in terms of, intruding on people's space and things like that. So if you ever travel there, use the "I'm having a conversation" rather than no, because no was really not part of their language in terms of having to get this thing across to you.
Well, going back to the distinction. So I love that you came up with that and they respected it and it let us get through some of these markets without constantly feeling pulled upon. And for me, when I started to think about, this level of desperation to not take no for an answer, to persevere, to get through, they're needing money at such a base level. Like this is survival mode that so many of them are in. And these children, you're talking, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 year olds hawking their stuff and, in the streets to get you to buy this. They're raised this way. They're told, don't take no for an answer. You got to be strong and tough and go past this to feed our family. Like that's where they're coming from, from that perspective. And that's the culture, that's the times that the economic culture they're living in. And in Egypt in particular, because it's so close to the hotbed of the Middle East, of everything happening there, Egypt tourism is down 50 or 60%. So their economy is hurting because so they're feeling even more desperate, right? After Egypt, we went to Australia. And in Australia, when we were walking through a market or a mall, and you have a conversation, oh, that's interesting, because I did a lot of shopping. Oh my God, extra suitcases we had to buy.
Okay.
So, okay, you did very good with that too, honey. Okay.
I think one of the suitcases was mine, so I can't complain.
Yes, 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 this is true. I mean, I might even say one and a half of that was yours. You like shopping. And in Australia, very different energy around buying and selling. So when we walk through the market, I think you were having a conversation with someone about a phone case or whatever it was. And you're like, oh, no, no, thanks. And they were like, okay,
Yeah.
no, no worries. No worries, mate, is actually what they would say.
We got to hear lots of different pronunciations for lots of different things, didn't we?
Lots of different things. Yes, it was great. I want to make sure that I leave some time um, for questions. So let's go ahead. Barry, you want to stay for questions or you got to
I can
bounce? Because
stay
I
for
know
about
you.
4 minutes and then I need to get
Okay.
ready for my next class.
Let me go ahead. And if you're here with us on the phone, you can hit *6. If you're here on the computer, you can go ahead and just raise your hand and I will bring you on as soon as I can. And I don't have to bring you on audio, but I'm on video. I can if you want, but just let me know. I'll keep it audio otherwise. And I see we've got one hand raised. Who's got their hand? Dr. Roz. So Dr. Roz, go ahead. Hi, honey. Thank you for taking notes for us. Oh, there
You can
she
bring me on
is.
video. I said, can you hear me? Can
I
you hear
can.
me?
Do you,
Uh-oh.
yeah, do you want to,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, you
Do
can
you
come.
want to
I
come?
can come on video. I don't mind.
All right, I'm
Um,
going to promote you and I get to see your beautiful face. Yay! Oh, you
yes.
declined my promotion.
Oh,
So you
oh,
have
no,
it.
I didn't mean to
That's
decline.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So she'll be coming on. So please do raise your hand or hit *6. And I'd love to hear from you as well. There she is. Click that unmute button, hit that little microphone.
Doing the phone. Okay. Okay. No, this
Hey.
is awesome, 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 awesome. And the energy of knowing and watching your freedom, I know helped many of us WPN entrepreneurs, whether you're at the beginning, the middle, rebranding, or whatever. When you see a sister who moves forward and trusts the processes and system, that helps. I know for me, you taking your trip, I started writing the grief pages and books and not thinking ugly of grief, and been able to hang out with Trish and all the other Wednesday guests, because wow is my start. So
Mm-hmm.
what more than to be at the forefront of where I catapulted to my next Wednesday, the Empowerment Wednesdays. So I just want to say thank you to you for your yes and going out. And I could imagine, as we learn each other, I'm just imagining I was a campfire girl. So I would have been your friend to just talk you through the desert. So
Um,
I was a campfire girl for many, many years. So the desert and camping does not scare me. But what a beautiful experience of
mhm.
life that has been engrafted on your heart, and all
Yeah.
of the lessons. I just kept numbering, and the girls who were helping, hopefully that little list will help you, because I know, girl, y'all know she gonna create something from that. Always be willing and ready to create from your experiences. You are
Yes,
loved,
yes,
appreciated,
yes.
celebrated, valued, and most cherished.
I
Love
missed that.
ya.
Love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yes, I'm going to do something with that little list because I had a few bullet points for today's lessons to share, and then more stuff came out.
Okay, good deal. So we'll be looking for the chat, Susan Winner, because I'm on the
Uh,
cell phone. I don't have the three dots on the cell phone.
I'll take care of it.
I love y'all.
Awesome. Love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, that was so much fun. Do you want to add anything to that, Sir Barry?
No, I just think having that experience, yes, it was a 2 month holiday in many ways, and yet to me it feels like a reboot for both of us to
Mm,
what we're going to be doing as well. So I'm
yeah,
excited. And we both came back actually really keen to get back into work. It was really interesting. It was like, you know,
it's very true. Like
revitalized.
because being a creator and a producer is part of my identity. So I think that's another piece for me. It was like really interesting to discover other parts of myself that I didn't give time to because I'm always so busy creating and producing. It was really
I can
interesting.
stay for one more call and then I better go.
Okay, let me go ahead and open up for our mutual friend, Laura Barker. Laura, are you there?
I am here. Good morning to both of you. I just love you both to death. Oh my goodness, y'all are the
We
best.
love you too.
But I'll tell you what I wanted to comment on from your discussion today, and that is the power of team. You know, you don't just talk about it, you demonstrate it. And what is so amazing about both of you is that you don't hold anything back. You know, you all pull the curtain back and go, this is the real deal. This is how we do this. And yeah, we trip sometimes, but that's okay. We just refocus and get back up and it's all good. And one of the things, Nancy, that you have taught me that just really pulls me through everything. When I perceive something as, quote, bad, you always said to me, ask yourself, how is this working out for me? How can this work out for my benefit?
Like for me instead of to me, right?
Right. And it's just been, you know, having the two of you in my life as coaches and friends and now family, if you will, is just life transformative. And I bet you everybody on this call feels the same way about the both of you because you guys are just spectacular. And Nancy, just to let you know, I'm going to give Ho'oponopono another look.
Okay,
you know,
good.
I've really been resistant, but I'm going to dive in. So
yeah, and I'm glad to hear that. And I'm going to be doing some additional teachings on it because it will transform your daily existence if you allow it to and raise it up to a whole new level. Amazing.
I will allow it. Awesome.
Thanks, Laura. Really appreciate your comment, Lauren. You're an inspiration to us as well. You know that.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, you are amazing, my friend. And a personal thank you from me and the entire WPN family for how you've stepped up as part of our team in so many ways, especially the momentum coaching.
I had more fun coaching in the momentum group. It was just a blast. I know everybody's is so happy to have you back, but I'll tell you what, I loved every second of it. And it was great to get to know people on a deeper level. Yeah.
Right? It's so good. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I love you. And Barry, you got to go?
I'm going to go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Nancy.
I love you. Okay.
Okay. Talk to everyone soon. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye. Oh, so good. And how lucky am I, right? So those of you who don't know our little love story, I'll share that another time. But anyway, he's great. Okay, so let's go to Olivia Jones. If you'd like to unmute yourself, please do. And yeah, so as Laura talked about and Roz talked about, and we've mentioned here, if you want to experience the next level of freedom and the upgrades, like we didn't even tell you about all the upgrades we had at every single place we went. We got upgraded hotel rooms, meals, theater tickets, like everything just kept working out so beautifully and magically for next level living. Come to the workshop this weekend because I will show you exactly how to create your business in such a way that you get to operate from inspiration, which creates more income, which allows you to enjoy more freedom. So go to Women's Prosperity Network. Actually, just jot down Susan's phone number and call her 954-290-2240. So jot that number down, reach out to Susan, join us for this weekend for some or part of it. And let me show you how to create your lifestyle freedom. As a matter of fact, my son sent me a text message when I was on the trip, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, most people would call this a once in a lifetime experience, but I have a feeling this is a lifestyle for you." And he's absolutely right, and it can be for you too. So join us. Reach out to Susan, 954-290-2240. Olivia Jones.
Good morning, Nancy. I love how you just speak over leadership over me. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I just think of the thing is I have a comment and I have a question, and it's kind of a funny question about travel, but I wanted to just share. I'm sitting here looking that when the vision is clear, the results will appear. And you just had a clear vision of, what you wanted to do. And I honestly believe when you are giving, the universe returns back to you.
Absolutely.
And when you're, just in a place of authenticity and your giving without necessarily expecting anything in return. So like you just had favor when you were getting in those, it was like your steps were ordered and it was
You are so
divine for
right.
you to be able to
And
be that natural upgrade.
so the phrase, every time that would happen for us, we turn to each other and say, we are blessed and highly favored.
There it is. I
There
love
it
it. I love it. So that and you're sharing your experience it is inspirational that it's very so much possible for any one of us with hard
is.
work and determination that it can happen. And I love how you know just shared and so transparent in each experience that you had. So just thank you for that. And I'm wondering how did you manage the time? Like they were all being in all, you were in 17 different cities, so that means you were in different time zones. So how did you handle the time changes?
You, what I found, so great question. And what I found probably about halfway through this experience, actually, by the time we got to Australia, because we spent 4 weeks in Australia and 1 week in New Zealand. Prior to that, was the Egypt trip, and that was kind of go, go, go. Mostly the same. We were in the same time zone there, so that really wasn't a shift. Um, I found that when I got to a new city, if I had a little bit of rest time before I jumped in, that helped me adjust. And I'm going to say this. We traveled business class the entire time. So our overnight trips, we had beds, we had 5-star treatment. Like it was pretty easy, must say. Travel business
Good to
class
hear.
is the answer.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, Nancy. Thank you for inspiring us to
My,
know what's
my
possible.
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure. And it is possible. And yes, it's perseverance. And yes, it's determination. And I got to tell you, Olivia, and all of you, that hard work and determination alone will get you exhausted. But when you are fueled by your passion, when you're fueled by a desire to be the highest expression of the divine, when you are fueled by that thing inside of you that calls to you, that lights you up, that pulls you forward so that your hard work and your determination do not leave you exhausted, but rather leave you inspired and fulfilled. And that's what I want for all of you, because that's this beautiful matrix of where magic happens. So beautiful. Thank you, Olivia. Let me take one more. I know we're at the top of the hour, but I must hear from Peg Duchesne, sending you so much love and healing and magnificence for who you are. Thank you, Peg.
Thank you, Nancy. It's good to have you back at the helm of Wow Wednesday. Trish and Susan filled your shoes very nicely in your absence. And I am so looking forward to seeing all the greatness that's going to come from you sharing your experiences as time unfolds for us. So welcome back and good to see you. And it is really a Wow Wednesday. Thanks for all the love and prayers. Thank you, Nancy, Trish, and Susan, for the great send out card you sent me for Get Well wishes. I'm doing so well. My doctor said she doesn't need to see me for 6 months. So
Congratulations. Blessings
it's just
abound.
it's just a little blip on the radar, and everything is good. Thank you, everyone, for your concern and care. And we may not have it all together, but together we have it.
We have it all. Oh, what a perfect way to wrap up this call today in the show. Thank you, Peg Duchesne. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Get out there, tap into your dreams and desires. And sometimes you might get tapped for that next dream, because I didn't even know I wanted to have some of this experience, but it came to me living in that beautiful space of inspiration. So step into that. I love you all. I'm grateful to everyone on a team who supported, to each and every one of you. And we'll be back. Make sure that you reach out to Susan and join us for this upcoming weekend for the Sales and Marketing Clinic. It's going to be a blast. We're going to unlearn and have you fall in love with sharing who you are and how you serve with other people. That's all it is. sharing who you are and how you serve with others so that you can bring value to their lives as well. Love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.